Okay, morning. This is our final assessment for the Elective 4 for Mr. Ryan Evangelista. By the way, I am Rayhard Santos from BSIT4A. Now, let's talk about this TOGA. Now, TOGA. Okay, what is TOGA? TOGA is an enterprise architecture framework that helps define business goals and align them with architecture objectives around enterprise software development. Uh, okay. The meaning of TOGAF is the Open Group Architecture Framework. It is an enterprise architecture methodology that offers a high-level framework for enterprise software development. It helps organize the development process through a systematic approach aim reducing errors, maintaining timelines, on staying on budget, and aligning IT with business units to produce quality results. Uh, TOGAP is intended to ensure everyone speaks the same language, avoid lock into proprietary solutions by standardizing on open methods for enterprise architecture, save time and money, and utilizes resources more effectively, achieve demonstrable ROI, provide a holistic view of an organizational landscape, act as a modular scalable framework that enables organizational transformation, and enable organizations of all sizes across all industries to work off the same standard for enterprises architecture. Now, what are the TOGAP benefits for business? We have this one. TOGAP helps organization implement software technology in a structured and organized way with a focus on governance and meeting business objectives. TOGAP is intended to help create a systematic approach to streamline enterprise architecture and the development process so that it can be replicated with as few errors or problems as possible as its pace of development changes hands. Now, what is TOGAP then? TOGAP 10 is the new modular format of the TOGAP, uh, uh, where the most business will start in implementing TOGAP and learning the basics of best practices of TOGAP. No? This is also part of TOGAP that is the least likely to change significantly over time, whereas the extended guidance portion is expected to expand and evolve. Now, here's the fundamental concepts of module includes documentation on. The introduction and core concepts, the architecture development method, or the ADM techniques, applying the ADM architecture concept, enterprise architecture capability, and governance. The extended guidance includes the topics such as establishing an enterprise architecture team, security architecture, business architecture, and information architecture, agile methods, reference models, and methods. For TOGAF certification, We can visit the links of Udemy Foundation Enterprise Architect Certification Training, uh, Udoreka TOGAP Certification Training, Good E-Learning TOGAP 9 Certified E-Learning, Global Knowledge TOGAP for Practitioners Level 1 and 2, E-Learning Launchpad TOGAP Training, EA Principles TOGAP 9 Course Level 1 and 2 combined, and QA TOGAP Certification Course. Now, these are the certified tools of TOGAP. Alphabet AG for Planning IT 7.1 and later. Evolution Abacus 4.0 or later. BizDesign Enterprise Studio, BOC Group, Adyot, Orbus Software, iServer Business and IT Transformation, so 2015 or later. PlanView Trucks Software AG, ARIS 9.0 or later. Sparse System Enterprise Architecture Level 1.2, or Architect Volume 12 rather. Uh, a brief uh, a brief trivia for the TOGAP, the evolution of TOGAP. TOGAP is based from the TAFIM, the Technical Architecture Framework for Information Management, an IT management framework developed by the U.S. Department of Defense in 1990s. It was released as a reference model for enterprise architecture, offering insight into DoD's own technical infrastructure, including how it's structured, maintained, and configured to align with specific requirements. Since 1999, the DoD hasn't used the TAFIM and it's been eliminated from all the process documentation. The architecture development method is at the heart of TOGAP. The ADM helps businesses establish a process around life cycle of enterprise architecture. The ADM can be adapted and customized to a specific organizational need, which can help inform the business approach to inform architecture. TOGAF was released in 1995, expanding on the concepts found in the TAFIM framework. TOGAF 7 was released in December 2001 as the technical edition, followed by TOGAF 8 Enterprise Edition in December 2002. It was then updated to TOGAF 8.1 in December 2003. The Open Group took over TOGAF in 2005 and released TOGAF 8.1.1 in November 2006. TOGAF 9 was introduced in 2009 with details on the overall framework, including increased guidelines and techniques. TOGAF was released in 2011 and the most recent version of TOGAF 10 was released in 2022. Now, here's the sample of TOGAF framework. Uh, as we can see here, the chart, the basic concepts is the architectural artifacts are created in order to describe a system solution or state of the enterprise. The concept discussed in this solution in this section have been adapted from more formal definitions contained in ISO, IEC, and IEE for 2010, 2011, and ISO, IEC, IEE 1528, 2015. They are illustrated in this figure, no, 3.1, 31. The environment of a system is a context determining the setting and circumstances of all influences upon a system. The environment of a system include developmental, technological, business, operational, and organizational, political, economic, legal, regulatory, ecological, and social influences. A system is combination of interacting elements organized to achieve one or more stated purposes. The architecture of a system is the fundamental concepts or properties of a system in its environment embodied in its elements, relationships, and in the principles of its designs and evolution. An architecture description is a work product used to express an architecture, a collection of architecture views and models that together document architecture. Stakeholders are individual teams, organizations, or classes thereof having an interest in a system. Concerns are interest in a systems relevant to one or more its stakeholder. Concern may pertain to any aspect of the system's functioning, development, or operation, including considerations such as performance, reliability, security, distribution, and evolvability, and may determine the acceptability of the system. Uh, an architecture view is a representation of a system from the perspective of a related set of concerns. It consists of one or more architecture model of the systems. An architecture model is a representation of a subject of interest. A model provides a smaller scale, simplified and or abstract representation of the subject matter. In capturing or representing the design of a system architecture, the architect will typically create one or more architecture models, possibly using different tools. An architecture will comprise selected parts of one or more models, chosen so as to demonstrate to a particular stakeholder or group of stakeholders that their concerns are being adequately addressed in design of system architecture. Now, let's move on to uh, API. Uh, what is an API? API is an application programming interface, which is a software intermediary that allows two applications to talk each other. Each time you use an app like Facebook, send an instant message, or check the weather on your phone, you're using an API. No? For example of this are the Google Maps API and Twitter API. Maybe among the most widely used API examples, no? But most software as a service providers offers APIs that let developers write code that post data to retrieve data from the provider's site as well. Okay, for this API, let's see. API. Okay, let's talk about the advantage of an API. The advantage of API is automation and efficiency. Okay. Okay. What is automation? Automation is less human effort is required and workflows can be easily updated to become faster and more productive. While efficiency, it allows you to use the capabilities of one of the already developed APIs than to try and independently implement some functionality from scratch. Now, let's move on. The disadvantage. What is the disadvantage of this API? Uh, Sincerity, no? If the API is poorly integrated, it means it will be vulnerable to attacks, resulting in data breaches or losses having financial or reputation implications. Okay, another. Uh, let's have an example, no? We will, here are the example of get methods. Uh, get these are get methods parameters that we can generate, no? Uh, Now, let's start using an API. Uh, we can install the random user library running the pip install command. No? Okay. This is the sample input. The codes we need to input to the launcher. First is pip install random user. From random user, import the random user. Import pandas as PD. The R random user. Okay. Uh, Using the generate users function, we get a list of random 10. Okay, let's proceed here. And here's the output of that sample output input as we show earlier. These are the get methods, and this is the input. And when we run these inputs, the output of this is this one. No, it shows a random user 10 because we generate here. We input 10 in the inside the parentheses. That's why the system shows 10 random user. Now, get methods. These get methods are the functions mentioned at the beginning of the example. No? Can generate the required parameters to construct a dataset. For example, to get full name, we call get full name function. Huh? Let's see if we have example here. Yan. This one is when we ay hindi nalagay yung ano. Para makagawa tayo ng ano no. The input we need to code name is equals to r dot get underscore full underscore name parentheses. Then let's say we only need 10 users with full names and their email address, no? We can write a for loop to print these 10 users. Uh, we can uh, we can input this for user in some list, then colon uh, print user dot get underscore full underscore name parenthesis, then quit, then uh, double quotation user dot get underscore email, then parenthesis, then close parenthesis. Then if we run that code, uh, this will be the output of that code we input, no? It will show 10, 10 users from the list, and they also have their Gmail, no? Next one. Here's the uh, sample input. Okay, as we can see here. Uh, to generate this table with information about the users, we can write a function containing all desirable parameters. For example, name, gender, city, etc. The parameters will depend on the requirements of the test to be performed. We can call the get methods listed at the beginning of this example. Then we return pandas data frame with the users. Uh, and here's the code we need to use. Uh, the def get underscore users. Then users for user in random user that generate underscore user. 10 users again. Then users data pen. And then if we generate or run that code, it will give us an output like this one. No, it has a name, gender, city, state, email, the DOB, and the picture. And that is a sample of a an API. Now let's proceed to uh, steps to build a COVID dashboard with React. Okay, now let's proceed to steps how to build a COVID dashboard with React. No, uh, we will have these instructions. We will be following a project. We will use terminal, write code, and do all other tasks to typically in an IDE. As we can see in the picture, we have used integrated development or IDE like Visual Studio Code. We will instantly familiar with the Cloud IDE provided by the lab. We will be using terminal most often, but we will have access to all other functions of IDE when the project launches, and we can open a terminal session from the core menu. No? First thing is we go to terminal, and then we click new terminal to open a terminal, and after that here's the core menu. Wait, okay, next. As you can see, the core menu and the project specific menu, and this one on the bottom part is the terminal. uh, okay, let's proceed. Okay, by the end of this, we can say that develop React application from scratch. No? Apply and interpret the JSX syntax, describe and create a React component, utilize React hooks to store data and work with renders, or use third-party libraries to streamline development. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, first we need to run this one. Uh, The, the user interface we will build using a front end and open source JavaScript library. JavaScript library called React.js. That React.js is a popular and well maintained library that allows developers to create complex front-end application which can dynamically update without having to reload the full web page. No? Along with the optimizations, the library also provides tools and structures that streamline development. Okay? To create a React application, we need to execute the command below by clicking this code npx create. As you can see, this one here. We need to execute this. So if we see a prompt that says need to install the following packages, create React app, yeah, we just need to press enter. Uh, the above command runs the create React app tool. So we should see a new terminal window. The following output, no, this one here. Create React app is a tool that setups the boilerplate, no? Boilerplate code for your application by installing dependencies. Uh, Automatically, Cove Dashboard is the name of uh, the application. Once the command is run, and click on the tab in the sidebar to expand it. Expand the project directory by clicking on the second tab in the drop bottom or drop down. Drop down, we will see a folder called Cove Dashboard has been created. As we can see here, as we can see, we have this folder Cove Dashboard. Now, after that, we need to navigate another code. Uh, we need to navigate another code, which is this one. As you can see, cd Cove Dashboard. Also, this one, the npm install chart.js. We need to execute this too. Uh, so the package manager that allows uh, this npm pala, no, is a package manager that allows us to easily install packages published by other developer. The packages installed above are chart.js. Chart.js is a library that allows data to be visualized as common graphs by drawing them on HTML canvas elements. Then React.js allows the core chart.js library to be used with React.js. And React Select. React Select provides a flexible and customable drop down for React.js. No? With the setup now complete, after executing these codes, we will be having this one. This is this will be the main goal of this tutorial example, no, on how to create this dashboard. This will be our main goal. Okay, little by little we can do it. Okay, now let me explain this in a brief. uh, The menu bar with a location drop-down and the information about the data version, a line graph displaying time series data, and summary card showing cumulative data. No?
React.js is an incredibly useful library for developing dynamic user interface, such as this one. Libraries such as React allow for faster development, under the hood performance optimizations, and a high degree of uh, customization. The building blocks of a React user interface are independent and reusable segments called components. Its component is written using JSX. It is a JavaScript extension that allows HTML to be written alongside JavaScript. As a result, the visual aspects of the application to be written in the same file as the logic, allowing easier flow of information between the two. Now, its component can be updated individually. As a result, the rendering the whole web page when the state of a component is updated, React only renders the concerned components using its virtual DOM. No? Now, let's proceed to the next slide. Okay. We need to overwrite this code, as you can see in the slides. In this slide, we need to overwrite this in the open app.js folder. No? After overwriting that, the React library is imported in the first time. So the import provides core React functionality such as JSX. Then the function app, so you can see here, function app, this one. No, this one pala. Here. Uh, this. Function app is a React component. No? It returns JSX which is rendered and displayed on the web page. Usually, app.js is the parent component for React app in which other components are nested. Okay? Then, after overwriting that, we need to save. Okay? We need to save this file by clicking the file and save. Okay? Finally, we can run our React application server by running the command below. Then starts an application server that lets us view uh, what our app looks like. Okay? Okay. Next tayo. We can add an style in this step. No? A CSS style sheet will be imported into the application external. Right, let me move on to the next one. So you can see app.css, import React from React. Okay. Okay. External style sheets or script files are usually placed under source code in the folder structure. No, during the initialization using create React app, a style sheet called app.css was automatically created. No? Import the app.css in the application by opening app.js and overwriting the import statements with the code below. This one, this code. So you can see here. Now, we open a source app.css and replace the contents of the sheet with the code below, no? Let me show you. Okay, these are the codes we need to use, no? We will be inputting this one in that folder. Now, after we input these codes, no, uh, save again the file and app.css and app.js and check the dashboard, no? We can reload that dashboard, we can launch, and then we will be having this one. Now, this is our live one, no? Ito na yung ano natin, nagagawa natin. So, we move on to the next step. Okay, the dashboard menu, no? Uh, in app.js, amend the import statements to match the following code. This one. This one. Okay. Then, we need a third-party component. Select dropdown is imported from one of the libraries installed earlier. Next is update the dashboard menu div in the app component inside the app function in app.js, like so. So we need this div class name, this code, this next picture, uh, this one. Then in the code above, two or more elements have been added to the dashboard menu div. Note, no, take note how instead of using class, the class name is used as an attribute. This is because class is a reserved keyword in JavaScript. So JSX tackles this issue by using class name instead of the class attribute in HTML. No? The select tag might look an HTML element. However, it is another React component. It is that easy to import and use components in React. The attributes in React components tags are called props, short for properties. These are used to pass informations to components. In the case React select docs specify what props the select components accepts and what kind of data can be passed to those props. Uh, The option props accepts an array of objects containing a label and a uh, value key called location list. No? Location list. Wait. Uh, smooth. Location list. Then note that how the JavaScript variable is surrounded by curly braces. The curly braces let snippets of JavaScript to be embedded into a markup. Finally, define local list in the app component before the return statement, like so. Then we will having these codes. As you can see in the slide, we need to copy this one. The labels corresponds to the text displayed in the drop down, and the value corresponds to the value selected on choosing an option. The values were taken from API doc. Uh, Now, let's save the app.js and check the dashboard by reloading the tab in the previous step or by clicking the button below. Huh? After we input these codes, we will be having this one. This is the updated dashboard we have. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. Next step is storing active location with states, no? A React component re-renders several times in a dynamic application. The values of regular variables are not stored between renders. To keep data between each render, React uses states, no? Uh, add the use state hook by modifying import statements of the to the following. This one, the import app.css. Furthermore, below the location list declaration, add the following codes, no? This cons active location, as we can see on the bottom part of the slide. Then hooks in React allow the user to work directly with a component's lifecycle. The use state hook declares a new state for the component. Not only does a state preserve information between renders, but a change in state triggers a re-render of component itself. The use state accepts the initial value of a state as an argument and returns an array with two items. The first item is the current state value, and the second item is a function that updates the state. The the array distracting syntax can be used to store both of these values in easy to read variable names. States corresponding to data version and active location have been declared above. And finally, let's move the slide. This one, another codes we will be using. This div class name, dashboard menu. Huh? Uh, update the dashboard menu div in the app component in app.js as follows. So to update this dashboard menu, we need these codes. No? These codes you can see in the slides. Uh, two more props have been added to the select component. The onChain, similar to the attribute found in HTML, is a function that is triggered when a new option is selected in the dropdown. The function above receives an option object and updates the active location state with value key. Default value, this refers to the initial value of the component. Here, all the options are filtered by value key, and the option that matches the initial value of active location remains. The state should never be modified directly and always through the update functions returned by the use state hook. For example, set active location. This ensures that the component re-renders and updates on states update. Now, we need to save the app.js and check the dashboard by reloading. Okay, now we move on fetching last updated with use effect. No? Mm, the last updated information for the endpoint is provided by the maintainers of the API at the version endpoint. On navigating to the endpoint by clicking the link, excuse me, we should see a response object to the following format. Okay, create a function that makes a call to this endpoint and updates the last updated state using the response by pasting the code below alongside the location list declaration app component but above the return statement. This one, this code, this one. Okay. Now, get version should be called every time the active location state is updated. However, state updates can be asynchronous. So simply putting get version call below, set active location would produce erroneous results. No? React provides another hook called useEffect that allows functions to be called after the component re-renders. Since the state updates and prop updates are a common source of component re-renders, useEffect also provides a mechanism to call functions only after component re-renders due to specific state or prop changes. Import the useEffect hook by modifying import statements of the following. So you can see here, this one, this import uh, app.cs css, no, our second image. Okay. Then finally, we just need to add this following state declaration in the app component, no, in the app.js. The last picture, this one. Then useEffects receives two arguments. The first argument is a function that is called after a component renders or updates. In this case, the function simply calls get version. The second argument is called the dependency array. Anytime a state or prop in this array updates, the function in the first argument is